Hi guys, Viridian Island for a new video for you today, and also a new desktop background, National Park HGSS, if you know you know. Well anyway, we have a bit of a crazy story for you tonight. There was a very high profile robbery of a Pokemon collector in the Netherlands. He got something like probably 30k of Pokemon cards stolen from him. So you're actually going to see right here that there was a case in the Netherlands where a guy invited some people over to his house for a deal, and as you can read on the headlines, dozens of PSA graded Pokemon cards worth thousands of dollars stolen during a house robbery in Kampen, Netherlands. Now this is pretty recent. This is published December 17th, and the robbery itself I believe happened on December 16th. Now if we read the details about what was actually taken, well, the details of the crime first. So he called a buyer around 3 p.m. Around 3 p.m., the buyer came with a friend, and the buyer and his friend took the victim and locked him inside a closet in his own house and made off with a whole bunch of cards. Now, what were the cards that were made off with? Well, there's a Facebook post here where he listed the ones which were for sale, and you can see it is some good stuff that was taken. There was like there's a whole bunch of PSA 10s, Alakazam, Blastoise. There were a few Charizards, if you can read this article in your own time. Also some Skyridge reverse crystals and some crystal cards, some of the Crystal Guardian set cards. A lot of stuff, and to top all of that off, the victim was told a base set booster box was stolen as well. And police are still trying to track these two guys down, but and it's a developing story. I don't know if they've had any luck in it so far, but you know there's a very high chance that his cards are just gone, because especially with these PSA labels, they can just, if you keep the PSA labels, yeah, you can track them down, but it's really easy to crack the cards out of that case and either get them regraded or just to kind of hide them and sell them raw. Alright guys, so what can we learn from this whole series of unfortunate events? I think number one is that while we worry about card degradation or losing something by the USPS, theft is an increasingly big issue. It's because we tend to think of Pokemon cards as mementos from our childhood and being toys. A lot of people just see them as easy to grab slabs that are worth a lot of money. And unfortunately, as cards continue to rise astronomically in value, and as a lot of people have hit hard times with the pandemic, I think it's a trend which could actually just continue to rise. And with that said, I think there's one major thing that this guy did wrong in his transaction. And guys, I cannot state this clearly enough. I think the biggest problem here is that he did the deal in his house. Like, guys, never ever do a physical transaction for cards in your house or anywhere near your house for that matter. Especially if it's someone that you don't know the first time, even if it's someone you've done one or two deals with, it can be very tempting to be surrounded by lots of PSA 10 first edition Charizards. Wouldn't you like one? I mean, it's really hard to say what can happen. So I would say the safest possible place to meet for a physical transaction, if you're going to do one, I would say is the lobby of a bank, because a bank has security cameras, a bank has security guards, and those are all people who can be witnesses in case anything happens, God forbid. If you need a reason to be at the bank, you can withdraw the money for the transaction at the bank and then just do the deal there. I would also say don't bring the goods with you when you first get out of the car to meet the person. Check them out, make sure everything is okay, that they're not sus. And then if everything checks out, then bring out the goods, exchange the cash, or do what you have to do. And kind of in line with that, although I kind of knocked the PSA numbers earlier, if you have PSA graded cards, write down those card numbers, so that at least you can tell, make Facebook posts, tell people in the area if something gets stolen, hey, these are numbers are stolen goods if you see them. Now, probably there's a good chance that the thief will just probably crack them out and, not use those numbers anymore, but if they ever are used again, it can be a tracing method. And that's one unfortunate downside if you actually use like middlemen to do your PSA grading for you, is that the PSA number will probably not register on your online account, although you can still manually write it down in that case. So that's the biggest thing that I wanted to say. I will say one other thing is that I see a lot of people these days doing mail day posts on Reddit and Facebook and other places. They want to show off like what cards they got in the mail, or they just have videos showing off their huge collection. And those videos are all fine and you should do them, but I would say that if you are doing them, one really important thing is to make sure that your address is not showing anywhere in those videos. And also just that general details of where you live or anything like that are not shown. Because, guys, the Pokemon hobby is really nice and most people are extremely nice, but The internet is just a huge place, and you don't know who is looking at these videos and things that you're posting up. You have to be really, really careful. And my last tip for you guys is actually more of a proactive one, and I think it can be helpful, is especially if you have Pokemon cards which are worth $10,000 or more, I think you should seriously consider getting them insured, actually. And kind of like homeowners insurance, but don't actually use a homeowners insurance, because I think most of the major homeowner insurance policies these days have no idea what Pokemon cards are or how much they're worth. Like, and maybe they'll give you like $3.50 for a first edition base set booster pack, because that was like the retail value in 1999. The thing is that people forget that, you know, Pokemon cards, they think of them like stocks, like, oh, my Pokemon cards went up in value, so like I'm richer now. Well, it's true, but Pokemon cards are a lot more fragile than stocks because they're not digital. You know, they can be burned, they can be ripped, they can be lost in a fire, flood, or earthquake. And these are all things which you should consider getting insurance for. Now, I'm not getting into it too much in detail in this video because it's a huge topic, but you can Google and do some easy searching and find lots of reputable companies that are actually directly in the business of insuring trading cards. So if you have a huge collection of PSAs or anything else, I would say for a couple $100 a year, it's something to seriously consider. That and getting a fireproof safe. Never a bad idea either. Well, anyway, those are all my tips for this holiday season for you. I didn't mean to, you know, try to scare you into the holidays or anything. And I think most physical transactions are fine, honestly, but it's just important to stay safe and to remember what you're doing. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to do a Cosmic Eclipse booster box opening live next week. By the way, you should totally buy that set if you haven't. It's going up astronomically in value, and there's so little supply. There's some talks for a restock, but I'm not sure if there will be one yet. Anyways, topic for another time, but tune in for that next week. I'll send a link to that when it's there. Enjoy, and happy holidays. Get some good pulls, okay? Bye.